Hi everyone, it's Monica and welcome back to Taylor-Made Cards for You. Well, today I want to share with you how to put together this cute little card which can be used for so many occasions. As you can see, I created this for a Mother's Day card that's coming up in May, and I wanted to go ahead and also create a sister card with a similar design so I can show you how I put this together. Now, the two designs that I'm creating are, of course, the mothers and the sisters, but you could use it as a friend, an aunt, I mean, any occasion, right? So it's just a very simple design that just needs a little bit of prep work and it will go together so easy. So let's go ahead and get started. So the main sets that I'm using in this card are these 3 die sets from Sizzix. And the umbrella was used off of this Tim Holtz set. And this is from the set called the Gent. And while it is displayed as a masculine card, as you saw, it could definitely be used as a feminine card as well. And then the letters I'm using are these here. And this is the classic upper. And it comes in upper and lower. And I decided to put my sentiment, or my sister's sentiment and my mom's sentiment, in all upper. And then finally, I used one of the flowers from this set that is the Funky Florals one. And this is actually the first time that I'm using this set. I've had it for quite some time, and I finally pulled it out. So like I said, this card just takes a little bit of prep time to be able to put it together easily. And so I went ahead and I cut out everything ahead of time just to be able to put the card together pretty simply. So let me go ahead and show you what I have here. So for the flowers, as you can see, I went ahead and I pre-cut my flowers, and I used my sidekick here to cut my flowers. So if you've never used the sidekick before, it's pretty simple, and what I like about it is you can easily just, you know, have it on your desk ready to go. So if you don't want to have to keep getting up and down to use your Big Shot or whatever type of cutting machine you have, you can easily do this at your desk. So this Big Shot, or excuse me, this sidekick here goes together fairly easily. It will stick on your desk with this little lever here. And then you can use all of your Thinlits, as long as it's not too wide. Your cardstock has to be no wider than your plates. But then as you can see, it goes together pretty easily. And then you can cut out all of your little pieces and put them aside. And I find when I'm putting together cards like this, that's typically the one thing that keeps me from designing cards like this, is because it does take a lot of prep time. But do the prep time, or do the prep before you actually sit down to do the card, so that way you don't feel like it's taking you a long time to put the card together, right? So when you do decide to sit down and put your card together, you'll have all your little pieces ready to go. And then for my base of my card, again, I have everything cut out. I have my little characters I'm going to be using for my sister, so I thought about that ahead of time. I've got this for my background. And then I like to layer my umbrella just to make it stand up a little bit, because this is just regular cardstock. But if you do want a little bit of thickness to it, you're going to want to cut out a few pieces. So I have all my pieces cut out, ready to go. I even pre-embossed my cardstock. So again, I have everything at my fingertips. I don't have to get up and down off of my desk, and now I can put my card together. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and glue this down. And I'm going to be using my 3-in-1 beacon for my adhesive, but you can use any type of adhesive that works for you. And I had pre-cut my cardstock, so it should just go together pretty easily. And then this is going to be my base, and then I use this for the background. Now on the card that I shared with you, on my first card I did some sewing, but we're not going to do sewing this time. In fact, for our contrast, we're going to just be using some washi tape. So before I actually adhere this down to my panel, I want to pick out some washi tape that I want to use. And since it is kind of a black and white and pink theme, I'm going to go ahead and use this here. So I'm just going to go ahead and add it down. And washi tape is great if you don't have a lot of different types of cardstock, especially some of the washi tape that is thicker, because it looks like paper, and you can just easily add it to your cardstock to give it a little bit more interest. And then for the bottom piece, I'm going to add some pink and black. And I'm using it as background, as you can see, so I'm not overly concerned that it's covering up the words special delivery. I just want to be able to create a little bit more interest. And at this point, if you wanted to do some stitching, you could definitely do that. But for the sake of time in the video, I'm just going to go ahead and leave the stitching off. All right, so now that I have my contrasting pieces, I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down. And then I will cut a piece of this off. Now, for this one, as you can see, I only covered part of it, and then I added some raindrops and flowers. And I think I'm probably gonna go the same way with that. So let me get my scissors out. I want it to be behind both of them, and since I'm using two little characters, I need to have it a little bit wider. So let's cut it about right here, maybe. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. And this is sticky on the back, so all I need to do is just lay it down. All right. Okay, just kind of figuring out my placement here. How are we going to do this? So I know I'm going to do an umbrella. On this particular one, they're not sitting down, so we have to kind of figure out the design. All right, so I'm going to spill over my flowers with this. And something like that. We'll figure it out. All right, so or maybe I might even go with a different character. Just see. Okay. All right, so this is going to be the design of my umbrella, and then this is going to be the pole, and then I think I'm going to use black for the handle. So you have to kind of have that figured out before you start piecing together. So I know that I want this to match the handle, so we're going to have to do some trimming here. And I'm just going to get my scissors to do a little trimming. How am I going to do this here? Actually, we're going to trim this. So think before you cut. There we go. And even on that one, I probably cut a little bit too much. It should have been a little bit higher. So I think I'll just have maybe a shadow. I think that'll be all right. Okay. All right, so I went ahead and cut just I actually redid this because I wasn't really happy with the way I had it. Initially, I thought it just needed to be rounded like the umbrella, but you really do need to leave that little lip in order for it to look a little bit more authentic. So once I have that, I'm going to go ahead and cut the handle, and again, leaving that little lip. And that way I have the top of my umbrella. Okay, so we're ready to glue this down. So, like I said, just before you actually start cutting and gluing, just give your designs some thought. I know a lot of people like to just sit down and start putting things together, but on some of them more intricate designs, and this by no means is intricate, some of them can get very detailed, but you know, when you're trying to create a scene or do piecing like I'm here doing here, you really have to just kind of think about it before you start putting it together. And then once you have the idea, have everything laid out for yourself, and it will save you a lot of hassle in the long run. Okay, so now that we have that, I know that we're going to do the handle in black. So let's go ahead and figure this out. So we have to decide if we want to cover the handle or have it underneath. So if we have it underneath, we'll cut that off. And that's what we have to decide. And I think I'm going to go ahead and actually cover it versus cutting it off. So again, deciding where it's going to start. I'm going to do it right above the design. And then I will lay it down. Okay. Now this paper that I'm using, I want to say I got it from Tonic. It's a great set, mirror card image, mirror card paper, I should say. And it's got the shiny paper with different colors. So that's what I'm using for my umbrella base. And then I'm just going to go ahead and piece the handle down. And that's how my umbrella is going to look. And then from here, all you need to do is add your top to however many pieces you want it to be thick. Okay, now of course we still need to add this part, but we'll do that at the end. I want to go ahead and get the base of my umbrella together so we can go ahead and have it a little bit more sturdy to work with. And that's another reason why I like to piece my umbrellas, is it will give it a little bit more sturdiness and make it a lot easier to work with as well. And I will typically layer 4 pieces, but even 2 to 3 is fine. Just, it really is your preference. Okay. All right, so I ended up going with 3 layers on my umbrella. And now we're going to go ahead and add this additional piece here. But remember, we want the silver to show, so we need to leave that little lip on that as well. Okay. And then I'm going to be using this precision glue pen to add this, because this is pretty thin. Another way that you can avoid having to use a glue pen or any adhesive is to die cut it using double-sided sticker tape, and then that way you can just peel off the backing and you'll have a kind of like a sticker. And I did that for my lettering, so I'll show you when we get to that part of the video. But right now I'm just adding some dots here to give it some adhesiveness to be able to stick it to the top. And that wasn't a lot of adhesive as you saw, but remember, we're going to be adding the little characters on top of the umbrella, so that will also help to hold it down. And then in the end, if you still think that you need more adhesive, you can always go over it with collage medium or some type of Mod Podge to be able to help it stick down a little bit more. All right, so now that we have this figured out, let's go ahead and start working on the flowers. So before we glue this down, we definitely have to figure out where these little girls are going to go. Now, with my original card, she was sitting on the umbrella, so that was a pretty easy decision. But with this one, they're going to be standing in front of it. So we have to strategically place it so the flowers can still spill out. So I think something like that's going to work. And with wet adhesive, you have movement time, so even if you don't get it placed down perfectly, you can still move it around just a bit. So kind of eyeball it here. Actually, that's pretty good. All right, maybe just a little bit over. And then give it just a little push down to be able to adhere it. All right, that looks good. And then these little girls will be standing here when we're finished. Now, I said we were going to start on the flowers, but let's go ahead and work on the sentiment first. So as I said, on this, I cut it out using some sticker tape, double-sided adhesive, so that way when I layer my stickers, I can just stick them right on top of each other. So I was gonna spell out the word sister, but I might just do, I might not do anything actually. We'll see. I don't have a lot of room. The design's a little different than the one I did for my mom. So I might actually not do that. Okay, so with the umbrella in place, it was time to go ahead and add the flowers. And having all of the flowers cut out beforehand makes it a whole lot easier. Like I said, as you see going along, this card isn't very intricate. It's not very difficult at all. It just takes time to cut out some of the details. And when I say details, I mean all those flowers and of course all the pieces to be able to create that layered umbrella. But once you have everything cut out and on your desk, it goes together pretty easily. Now with these little flowers, the petal part of the flower was pretty easy to put together. But remember, you have those little dots that go in the middle. Now you can use little gems if you wanted to, but I went ahead and just stuck with the paper. So to adhere those flowers, I just added some glue. And as you can see, the little dot is not on the flower when I add the glue. But when you push the flower down, just by the movement of the flower, the glue does move to the open hole in the middle. And then all you need to do is just find some sort of poker to pick up those little pieces to add right in the middle. And what's nice about having all of the flowers cut out ahead of time is you can interchange the centerpiece, so that way your flower doesn't have all the same color. You can interchange those pieces to make it look very natural and colorful. Okay, so let's go ahead and add some foam dots to the back of the paper dolls to go ahead and pop her up. And again, the reason we're having to do that is because with the umbrella, we added several layers. So it is a little bit raised from the card, and we don't want the little girls to be lopsided. So you can just use circle foam dots, but what I'm using is the outer layer of the foam dots. So as you can see, there are empty circles on this, and instead of throwing away the packaging that held the round foam dots, I'm going to go ahead and use it. It's the same material and it works just as well, so I decided not to be wasteful. And then once I had my foam piece on the right side of my paper dolls, I went ahead and I added some glue to the left paper doll, and I adhered it right over the umbrella. Okay, so I ended up voting against using those letters just because it didn't really look good on top of the card. The umbrella that I'm using is going the different direction, and I just decided not to go that way with this sister card. But I still wanted to add some sort of a sentiment, so I went ahead and I just got a sticker sentiment from the Tim Holtz Idea-ology collection. And since it is a birthday card, I think that the sentiment works out really well. So the sticker sentiment that I ended up using said, "Make today count," and I think that's perfect for a birthday card. Okay, so let's go ahead and add some final touches. On my Mother's Day card, I did end up using some Nuvo crystal drops, and these are like the ones that are clear and they look like dewdrops. So with the umbrella, I thought it was kind of a nice final touch, so I wanted to go ahead and add that as well to my sister card. So I just randomly added them all over the top of the card, and then I even added some on top of the flowers just to look like little dewdrops. And that's it, you guys. I mean, as you can see, the card was so easy to put together, yet it's so precious. And it will work not only for a Mother's Day card, but you can use it for a sister card or even a friendship card. So I really hope that you take the time to create a little bit more of an intricate design just by taking some time to plan the card out, pre-cut all of the little items you want to use, and you're going to find it's going to go together so easy. So as always, I'll leave a list of all the products that I've used to create the card along with the links to the stores. And if you've enjoyed my video, I would sure appreciate a thumbs up. And I always leave to read your comments, so leave me a comment, let me know what you think about my design. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. All right, everybody, thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll see you again next time.